Hi, I'm Jennifer Marie Pelfini from Jenn Marie Living.
And I am Tami Grace from Grace Day Spa.
And we're here today to talk to you about our new women's self-care seminar series called Glow. It's kind of funny because we both have girls.
Yes.
And Tammy's daughter's 8, right? She's 8?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Audriana's going to be 6. And when I personally think of self-care, I think of that as just being a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
I grew up not really knowing what that was because my mom is a super busy woman with a lot of kids. And it's so funny. I was telling Audriana the other day in her bathroom, which we have a lot of bathrooms in our house. And it's a big house. And I grew up in this house that had 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom for like up to 7 people most of the time. Most of the time there was 5 or 6. But I walked into her bathroom and I was like, this was our only bathroom in our house, and it was half the size of your bathroom.
Yeah.
Like where your toilet and your tub was,
Yeah.
our whole bathroom was there. And there was only 1 sink.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I truly believe self-care is learned behavior.
Yeah, learned behavior.
There was no mental or physical space in the house I grew up to really take good care of yourself. Because we shared all this space, and I grew up thinking that it was a selfish thing to do, to take time for yourself. Because like if my mom would be in the bath, this is a true story, we'd be banging on the door like, get out of the bathroom. We have to go to the potty, or we want to brush our teeth. How could you be in the tub?
Right.
And spending many years single, I still didn't think self-care was that important, but it was the last priority on my list. Like,
Yep.
I waited forever to get any kind of good products for my skin. I didn't think it was important. I didn't wash my, that book, Girl, Wash Your Face. I did not wash my face. So this whole thing about self-care is like a bigger journey for me.
Yeah.
I feel like what that means. And it's more than a buzzword.
Yep.
It's, and I think stepping into your spa the first time, and I'd been to spas before. It wasn't like my first time in a spa, but it was one of the first times that I felt like there was a space where I could actually get self-care and not feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it looks different for everybody. And you have to find what your self-care is.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole learning that it's important, first and foremost, and then digging in and discovering your individual self-care is very important because it looks different for everybody.
Right. Like, how did it look for you growing up? Were you familiar, speaking of self-care, were you familiar with what that meant?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, the normal basic take care of yourself, brush your teeth, take showers, yes.
Right.
But you don't think of that as self-care until
That's like
you
necessity.
consider, that if you didn't do it, you wouldn't be taking care of yourself. But
right. Because your teeth would fall.
Self-care, right? Self-care, especially for women, has to be so much more intentional. And
yes.
And no, growing up, I wasn't like, I'm going to do this, this, and this to keep my mind healthy. And tell me how many people did that growing up.
Right.
I don't think I figured that out until I was like 30.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of life experiences of neglecting myself.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
neglect is a
important.
big
And
thing.
the earlier you find out that this is important, the better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm going to have my daughter use 12 products when she's 12 years old.
Yeah.
But I will if we wash her face.
No.
And we're starting to wash her face.
That's right.
Because I don't feel like that was like important to me growing up, like wash your face. I mean, it was part of like what you did, but it wasn't like make sure every night before you go to bed you wash your face and why it's important. So when we were talking to our daughters about that and do they do it or not,
Right.
or like we're just starting that journey.
Yep.
And I feel like that's a lot of reason why we're doing this Glow is like we have such a responsibility as women to ourselves, but also to those that are around us that see it. Because the more people, I know me at this stage of my life, probably more or less because I moved to Reno and self-care is becoming more common to talk about, that now it's in my space where I can't turn away from it.
Right.
I changed my eating, I've changed the way I view myself. I've changed a lot of things about myself, but there's still some things I need to work on, and I feel like self-care is a big one for most people.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond your skin, right?
Oh, far beyond your skin.
Yeah.
That's just one tiny piece of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like we landed on this event because we just feel like as women, we just have so much to share with each other. And not that we're absolute professionals in this, that, or the other thing, but we're just people that have discovered something very important that we want to share with others, and that's intentional self-care. And this seminar series is exactly that. It's discovering, well, this one is intentional living and skincare, finding passion and purpose, and fitness, health, and nutrition. So it's all those key points that we all feel that are very important to taking care of yourself.
And it's not like we're coaching you or anything like that. And it's not like we're selling you or anything like that. It's more of like a conversation of the things that we've learned. Like resources. Yeah. I mean, my journey personally in the last year has been about figuring out how to author a book and get my mom's song published. And there was a lot of back-end work years of work that went to make that happen. And I was able to finally take a step back after it happened and been like, oh yeah, there was a process I did. I didn't know it was a process at the time, but there are some things that you can learn on how to focus more towards your passion and your purpose. And speaking of self-care, that's another thing we're not taught. We're taught to like stick on this path, do this thing, this is what you do well, and you should stick with it no matter what, at all costs. That's where you're going. And to break away from that really takes a deeper look into yourself and what is it that really drives you and makes you passionate and gives you and gets you closer to your purpose. And we talked about that with our girls too. Like, you know,
oh, it was so cute.
It was so
listening
cute.
to them answer these questions. It's very and I had told Jen, I was like, the big issue and the reason that we're excited to do this event is they're almost 6 and 8. So you wouldn't expect them to exactly know the definition of self-care. But I told Jenna, I was like, yeah, but there's 30, 50, 60-year-old women out there that don't even know what self-care is. And couldn't define it or don't even know what to do with it. So it's just understanding it. And
it was eye-opening to hear our girls talk. We're going to share that with you because first of all, it's so freaking cute.
Adorable.
And it's adorable. And second of all, it's eye-opening to hear what are the messages that they're hearing that they're
or what are they watching us,
and how are they watching us, and are we doing a good job? And it sounded to me like we're not doing such a great job sometimes.
So I love my job and what I do. And my daughter said sometimes I'm like, oh,
but we're showing them what it's like to have your own business, and I think that's different. I think they would feel that we were so ground out if we were actually in jobs that we didn't like. You know,
they would see the difference.
So they would see the big difference.
They would not see a glowing mother.
And I would not like, you know, this word that I have this year is illuminate, and I would not illuminate if I was back where I was 5-10 years ago, because it wasn't, you know, I hate to say filling my bucket, that's what my daughter says, it wasn't really filling my bucket, you know. And when you get to that stage in your life where you're sort of like, that's it, I can't do this anymore, like I'm just so unhappy, I don't see an end here, I need to really change it. But you honestly don't know how, because it's a big daunting task to change from something that you're taught to do and that you do well into something that is really lying in your heart. And that for me is a big part of what this is about too. And you know, I'm so excited to work with Tami on this because, you know, personally I was just sick twice this year and I never get sick, and it's because I do such a poor job at taking care of myself. And I have a lot to learn from her, and I'm excited to find out what that is. And
you know, same vice versa. She was sitting in my pedicure chair, and it happened to be on a day that I just was struggling that morning. I woke up it was a really hard day, and everything that she was speaking about, which you'll hear a lot about that at the seminar, her topic was just in that 10 minutes that she spoke in the pedicure chair was just like uplifted me so quickly and gave me tools right away where it changed my entire day and how I was going to implement those things into my day instantly, and it was phenomenal. So I am so excited for her to share that with you guys because it'll be a lot more in depth than a 10-minute pedicure session. Well, hour-long.
Oh no, you're a lot longer pedicure. Or pedicures are the best.
But I learned so much in a pedicure.
Yeah, there's so much that we can learn from one another,
Mhm.
you know, ongoing. And like, we've done this with our businesses too. Like from the day I walked in her spa and I was talking about kind of what I want to do or didn't know what I wanted to do.
And there they are.
Yeah. That's the reason why we do what we do. And those girls are the light of our life.
Yeah.
You know, we want them to glow. And we don't want them to have to go down the paths that we've often taken.
Struggling how to
Struggling,
take care of
how to take
yourself.
care of yourself.
This is the important thing we need to do as women together.
Exactly.